All right, so today we're going to deep dive into something pretty cool.
Okay.
The mental side of pro tennis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we'll look at Elina Svitolina. Remember her? She got all the way up to like #3 in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. She was a force.
But the thing is, she says it wasn't just, her skills on the court.
Right.
It was her mental game, too, that really got her there.
Yeah. And what's cool about Svitolina is she's really strategic about it.
Okay.
Like she approaches it just as seriously as her, physical training.
Got it.
She talks about this thing she calls a mental skills balance sheet.
Yeah. A balance sheet? Like for finances.
Yeah. But for your mental game, right?
Yeah, I got to hear more about this.
So think about it like this.
Okay.
You know how a balance sheet shows you like your assets and debts?
Right.
So this mental balance sheet, it's like taking stock of your mental assets.
Okay.
On one side you list your strengths, like maybe you're amazing at staying cool under pressure. Or you've just got this unshakable belief in yourself.
Makes sense.
And then on the other side, you're honest about the stuff that needs a little work.
So the weaknesses.
Right.
Exactly. So what? Like getting distracted too easily or maybe being too hard on yourself?
And sickly. Things like that, yeah.
So this balance sheet helps you see the whole picture of your mental state.
Right.
Like where you're strong and where you could use some improvement.
Exactly.
Okay, but how does that actually help you improve?
Okay, so think about it like this.
Okay.
By knowing your strengths, you can really use those to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
And you don't let the weaker areas, like completely take over.
Oh, I see.
It's like making sure you're in the black mentally, so to speak.
I like that analogy.
And Svitolina, she breaks down her mental game into these 4 key areas. So there's focus, process orientation, confidence, and persistence.
Okay, these all sound super important, and not just for tennis, right?
Yeah.
Like I can see how these apply to like anything you're trying to achieve.
Totally, yeah.
So let's start with focus.
Okay.
I mean, in a tennis match, that seems crucial.
Yeah.
Right? With all the pressure and the crowd and everything going on.
Totally. And Svitolina talks about how important it is to kind of like leave everything behind when she gets on the court.
Really?
Yeah. Like she said, and I quote, "I try just to focus on my game when I go on court, and everything I just leave behind. For me, it's very important to be mentally there. Don't let bad thoughts do bad things with my game."
Wow. That's pretty powerful.
Right.
So she's not just hoping to avoid distractions. She's actively like making sure she's focused.
Exactly.
I wonder if she uses any specific techniques to do that.
Oh, I bet she does.
Like what?
Well, a lot of athletes use things like visualization or mindfulness or even just breathing exercises to kind of train their minds.
To stay present.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So focus is key. Okay, what about this process orientation thing? Sounds a little intimidating, to be honest.
Oh, no. It's actually pretty simple.
Oh, good.
Basically, it means you break down a big goal into smaller steps.
Okay.
So instead of thinking about like winning the whole tournament.
Right, which would be overwhelming.
Totally. You just focus on the very next thing you got to do.
So like what?
Like nailing your next serve or sticking to a specific strategy during a point.
Oh, so you stay in the moment and don't get ahead of yourself.
Exactly.
It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly. And Svitolina has said something similar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she said, "I always try to take one step at a time. It's very important for me to not rush things and to stay very positive with myself."
Okay, so process orientation is about like staying grounded and focused.
Right.
Which I guess would help a lot with confidence too, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And speaking of confidence, Svitolina has a pretty interesting take on that too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Instead of basing her confidence on whether she wins or loses, she focuses on celebrating those little achievements along the way.
Right.
I like that.
It's so easy to get hung up on our mistakes.
Totally.
But celebrating the small wins can be so powerful.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly giving yourself positive reinforcement.
Exactly. And Svitolina actually said something like that too.
Really?
Yeah, she said, "That's what I love about tennis. There are always these small achievements that you have, and it always drives you to go for more and work harder."
So she's creating her own confidence from the inside out.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got focus, we've got process orientation, we've got confidence.
Great.
What about the last one? Persistence.
Ah, yes, persistence. That's the ability to bounce back from those setbacks.
Right, to keep going even when it's tough.
Exactly. That's what separates the champions from everyone else.
And Svitolina's known for being a fighter.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, Even on a bad day, she said, and I quote, "I was just trying to play my best and always try to fight, even when it's not working well or it's a bad day, try to fight over and over again."
Mm-hmm.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that even the best athletes, they face tough times.
Right.
But it's how they handle those times that really matters.
Exactly. And this all kind of ties back to that mental skills balance sheet we talked about before.
Okay.
By knowing your strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
you can start to develop those strategies to handle those challenges.
That makes sense.
Like if you know you tend to get discouraged easily, you can work on building up your persistence
Right.
by being kind to yourself and focusing on what you can learn from each setback.
Okay, so to recap what we learned from Elina Svitolina, focus, process orientation, confidence, and persistence are key.
Yeah.
And it seems like these aren't just tools for tennis players, right?
Oh, definitely not.
Like these are things that can help anyone achieve their goals and perform at their best.
Absolutely.
And the cool thing is,
Yeah.
these are skills that we can learn and improve.
Yeah. It all starts with building your own mental toolbox.
Right, like Svitolina has.
Exactly.
So think about your own strengths and where you could use some work.
Right.
You don't have to do everything at once.
Oh, no.
Just pick one small thing.
Yeah.
What's one thing you can do today to strengthen your mental game?
Good question.
Maybe try meditating for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or celebrate a small win.
Yeah.
Or even just acknowledge a challenge without letting it ruin your whole day.
Right.
The point is to start building those mental muscles.
Yeah. One step at a time.
One step at a time, exactly.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.